Hey there everybody, this video is brought to you by my amazing supporters over on Patreon. All my supporters have access to videos a few days before their release, and for just $2 a month you'll get exclusive behind-the-scenes content such as scripts, thumbnails, and channel updates. If you're interested in supporting the channel, I highly encourage you to check out my Patreon in the link below. Your support would mean the world to me and give me the financial freedom to make the type of content that I want to make. And if you'd prefer, this channel has just been granted YouTube memberships. You get all the same perks as my Patreon without even having to leave YouTube. Alright, that's enough begging for money. Let's just get into the video. So, I guess I'm not done talking about Spider-Man PS4, and especially the sequel, because I cannot stop thinking about this one specific thing. Hey everybody, TroyBoy17 coming at you live with another fanboy crazy talk where I don't have a script, I don't have a bullet list, I'm just kind of going, but I do like to think that I'm enthusiastic enough to make it without one. So, the thing I wanted to talk about today involves a sequel to Spider-Man PS4, specifically more gameplay stuff related to it. You know, I did my story about it, which I didn't go super into depth with it. Like, I don't really like going into depth with the pre-writes, but if you want to check that out, there'll be a link. Anyway, what I want to talk about today is something about the gameplay of Spider-Man PS4, specifically revolving the suits. Now, I think it's fair to say the suits were one of the best things about the first game. Just the sheer number and the quality of them. Insomniac really put a ton of heart and detail in every single one.
Spandex. Everything. Spandex.
Like the fact you can see like the threading on the Raimi suit is just, ugh, I love it. So the thing I want to talk about today is there's this concept of a suit builder kind of going around, you know, and it's been going around since before the first game came out. Like that was an idea, you know, I even thought of it. I was like, oh, that'd be cool. But I think more people are talking about it now, and I kind of want to get my thoughts out there as somebody who firstly loves the game, loves Spider-Man, loves building Spider-Man costumes, even though I can't afford them and I'm too fat to fit in them, so I don't actually make them, but I like thinking about building them. So I'm really involved in the Spider-Man suit building like community, so I know a lot of the practices and stuff, but I like to think I have a little bit of expertise involved with like how suits are made and shit like that, which doesn't really actually help because it's a video game, but you know. A lot of people are wanting a suit builder, and I initially was like, I don't want a suit builder because I played Injustice 2. I played a lot of Injustice 2. I played Injustice 2 from launch up until Mortal Kombat 11 came out, like basically every day. Injustice 2 was one of those games that I kept playing forever. I don't know why. Black Canary was my main, if anybody's asking. Of course she was. Yeah, so I played a lot of Injustice 2, which has the gear system, and I'll do a quick recap of the gear system just in case anybody hasn't heard of it. Also, I gotta get this video to 10 minutes so the YouTube algorithm will treat me kindly. So the gear system in Injustice 2 was you would unlock different pieces with different stats and damage and defense and stuff like that, and you could customize your own character. Every character had a headpiece, chest piece, arm piece, leg piece, and then a special piece, I believe. So like Batman had his belt, and Green Lantern had his like lantern, Black Canary had her choker, all that stuff. And it's really cool in concept. I really like the idea of it, but the problem was, and maybe this has to do with NetherRealm. I love NetherRealm. I'm a big NetherRealm fighting game kind of guy, but I'm not the biggest fan of how they handled the gear system personally. Their mindset was like, well, every piece has to go together because people are going to be able to mix and match them, so everything kind of has to fit. And so that led to everything being really blocky. There was nothing really like comic accurate or clean, because I'm a person who really likes, if I'm playing a Batman game, I don't want to play as armored Batman. Whenever I replay Arkham Knight, I play in the classic Arkham City suit, just because it's sleek, it's cloth, it's slim, simple. That's what I like out of a superhero costume. And so with Injustice 2, all the like higher stat level gear was really complicated and really armory, and so the simple stuff that I liked, there was very little of it, and it was always like very base level stuff. There was never a clean Batman costume, basically. So I usually what ended up happening was I would just find a suit find a design that I liked, and I would just kind of deal with it. I would deal with the different stats and stuff, because I wouldn't really experiment too much more because everything else was so wacky. Everything else was so weird. And there was a lot of cool stuff, believe me, there was a lot of cool gear, but there was very little like actually stuff that fit the character, because I'm weird like that. I need stuff to fit the character. And obviously the stuff with the stats doesn't matter with the Spider-Man game, because it won't affect the stats. I would hope it doesn't affect the stats. I don't want anything like that. But the concept of the gear pieces like kind of fitting together and stuff, you know, and not really being comic accurate, you know, all being original designs, that's not really a thing I'm a big fan of. And so a big part of that has to do with the fact that it was separate pieces for like the arms and the legs and the chest and the head and all that. So I don't want to see that come in. I don't want to see it super literal with like arm pieces and leg pieces and stuff for Spider-Man, because Spider-Man's costume at the end of the day for me needs to be slim and like streamlined. Yeah, so NetherRealm did Injustice 2, and then fast forward to Mortal Kombat 11, and this is where I think they actually did it the best. I really like the customization in Mortal Kombat 11. I do not like unlocking the stuff in Mortal Kombat 11. I hate it. But regardless of that, the actual method of designing the characters and customizing is really good. It's really good for the most part. There's one thing that I do not like, but we'll get into that. Basically, the way it works is you have a skin which defines 80% of how this character looks now. And so there are a bunch of skins of like, say, so let's look at Scorpion. Scorpion has his regular default skin, and then those have different colors for them. And then there's one where he doesn't have his hood on. And there's different colors for that. And then there's his classic skin, and then there's another variant, you know. So that's how you determine like the majority of those looks. But then you also get your gear pieces. So like you have a mask, and then a sword, and then a spear. So you have 3 gear pieces which determine the look a little bit more, customize it a little bit more than you would normally. I think that's the best way to do it, so you still have a design that is still consistent and still like fits with itself, but you do get that customization. A big thing about having a unlockable stuff in a suit builder would be so you have stuff to unlock. You have rewards and stuff in the game, and that would work really well with SpiderMan. Maybe like you get the stuff in the backpacks. So the only problem that I have with the Mortal Kombat stuff is that each like color variation of each skin, there's really only like 4 skins per character, or maybe 5 depending if it's Scorpion. There's 5 I think, but there's really only like a few actually different skins, but then there's like 20 color variations, and they're each treated with the same amount of like weight. So like you don't unlock a default skin with a shader, you unlock the purple version of that skin. It's like you don't want the purple version, you want the red one. So I think the best way to do it would have been to have just the 5 skins, and you unlock color shaders as you go along, and then the skins are like hard to unlock, they're like legendary stuff. But anyway, on to Spider-Man. I talked about Mortal Kombat and DC and Injustice for way too long, but on to Spider-Man. I think we can take the lessons that we learned from Mortal Kombat and Injustice, because those are, and I guess if you want to take, we're not going to talk about DC Universe. Let's not talk about that, because that's a whole different thing. But I think we can take the lessons that we learned from Mortal Kombat and from Injustice and see how we can make a Spider-Man suit crafter in a way that fits the characters design-wise and then is good for customization, but also looks good.
Cool Spidey outfit. Thanks. Where'd you get it? I made it.
I think it could work very similar to the Mortal Kombat look. So as somebody who has designed Spider-Man suits in the past, Spider-Man suits kind of come down to 1, 2, 3, 4, roughly 5 or so actual things. And that is 1, the eyes, the lenses, the symbol, the front symbol, the back symbol, the webbing, and the base of the colors, like where the red is, where the blue is. Because if you look at like the Raimi suit versus the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit, like there's a thinner section of blue on his arms and stuff like that. So I think you could take all those aspects of the Spider-Man suit and apply it to the Mortal Kombat method of doing customization. So basically, you can have a skin that has your pattern and then your webbing, because the webbing needs to fit the pattern. You can't really mix and match that. Maybe you can change the webbing style. So you got your red and blue pattern with your webbing on it. So you have those as your base skins that you unlock throughout the game, maybe through backpacks and stuff. And you also have the eyes, which those can be mixed and matched, and then the symbols can be mixed and matched, and the back symbol can be mixed and matched, and all that stuff. The way I propose it is you unlock a suit. When you unlock a suit, you unlock everything about it individually. You unlock the base, you unlock the symbols, you unlock the eyes. And so you can wear that suit on its own altogether, the way it was, probably designed, or you can go back to, say, like your apartment or something, and you go into your suit builder, and you can mix and match different aspects of suits that you've previously unlocked. So instead of full total customization of arm pieces, leg pieces, and all that stuff, you just get base design with a couple of shifts. You could do the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit with the Homecoming eyes, potentially, or the Raimi suit with the Amazing eyes, or the Advanced suit with, like, I don't know, like the homemade suit eyes. I think that would be really, really unique and really interesting, and allow for customization while also allowing for a streamlined Spider-Man look. And then they could also just have shaders for each suit. I mentioned the symbiote shader in my pre-write, but then there could also be like a red and green one, just different colors and stuff if you want to go crazy. Maybe even like a vintage design could be really, really cool, like a vintage look. I'd like that. Yeah, like I think something like that to allow for slim and not even necessarily slim, but like streamlined design is really what it needs. Cohesive, coherent design that all kind of works with itself. Because if you've got like the arm pieces of the Amazing suit with the chest piece of the Raimi suit, that doesn't really fit so well with like the brick pattern and the way the lines line up. This was kind of a long-winded way of saying that I hope that Insomniac, if they were to do this, and obviously I trust them a lot. They do really well with these suits, and they may not even do this. They may not do this at all. But if they are to do a Spider-Man suit builder, I would really, really like to see it personally take inspiration from the Mortal Kombat one. Have it structured like that with the streamlined design, as opposed to the Injustice one where it's all piecewise. Anyway, I think that's all I have to say about that. So if you have any other ideas about how a suit builder or something could work in a future Spider-Man game, let me know in the comments. I'm really interested to see your thoughts. But if you like this video, be sure to hit the like button. If you didn't like this video, also hit that dislike button. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe and see more of my stupid garbage. Again, I usually have a script for these things, but oh well. And yeah, this has been TroyBoy17, and I'll see you around.